This is the West Wing behind me, right?
Yes.
A bit better. Hello and welcome to the special News Mobile Editor's Wrap from inside the White House. Behind me is the West Wing of the White House, where President Trump sits with his key interlocutors and all the big decisions are made. Today I'm talking about what will it take to mend US-India partnership, which was good. President Trump several occasions has praising Prime Minister Modi, but this relationship has seen one of its worst dips. One of the things sources are telling me is the way we're engaging with the Trump White House. It requires some out-of-the-box diplomacy because President Trump is not like other presidents. He has a very different way of working. It's more informal. He goes through a lot of key interlocutors, people whom he trusts, and that's the reason why that engagement is required. Second thing is that he is a deal maker. He's a businessman. Obviously, he weighs every deal in a relationship, and obviously US-India ties provided a huge opportunity to give him that window of a deal that was happening. Obviously, there are things which have gone wrong on both sides, certainly, but this relationship is too pivotal. The relationship is too important. Whether it's the diaspora connect or the economic connect between the two countries, that we need to repair this on an urgent basis. What will happen on the tariff dispute? Obviously, there are still, I would say, behind the scenes parlays which are happening. The Indian mission here has been engaged in discussions with key interlocutors, but obviously we haven't got a solution as yet. The more this
Our country, which is doing very well, I have to tell you. Every policy of the Trump administration is designed to lift up the American worker, promote great-paying blue-collar jobs, and to rebuild the industrial bedrock of our nation. It's also obviously for great defense. We have the greatest military in the world. We rebuilt it largely in my first term. Some of it was stupidly given away to Afghanistan. For what reason? Nobody can figure that one. But it was still a relatively small amount of what, if you compare. The concept of what they did, however, is just incredible. But the country is doing well. We're respected all over the world like never before, probably. We went to NATO, as you know, and they went from 2% to 5% of GDP. Nobody expected that. And the difference is they didn't pay the 2 and they paid the 5. So. And as you know, we are selling a tremendous amount of equipment to NATO. We're not spending any money, we're making money, but I don't want to talk about making. I want to talk about we're no longer involved with funding Ukraine, but we are involved with trying to stop the war and the killing in Ukraine. So we're selling missiles and military equipment, millions and millions, and ultimately billions of dollars to the NATO people, where I'm very friendly and we have a great relationship, but that was an amazing trip. So they're funding the entire war. We're not funding anything. I think it's an important point to make because a lot of people don't understand that. And we will continue to do that, and we're trying to get as much as we can for them. They want the American product. The American military product is by far the best in the world, and that's what they want to get. They have lots of options, but that's what they want to get. So the factories are doubling up and tripling up where they make the Patriots and other really, you could say, defense and offensive weapons. The wages for blue-collar workers are now rising at the fastest rate in 60 years, which is so important to all of us around this table. The average American worker has already seen a $500 wage increase this year, and there's no inflation because there's been decreases, tremendous decreases, with thanks to Doug and Chris some of the people, the great job they've done with energy. Thank you very much. And Chris, thank you very much. I see you down close to $60 a barrel, and you'll be breaking that pretty soon. And that has a huge impact. So we have groceries are down. Energy is way down. Energy is way down. It was $4 and $5 for a gallon of gas. Think of that for gasoline. And now it's probably $2.25. There are some places it's $2. It broke $2 at a couple of locations in the South. In places like California where they charge such high taxes, it's higher, but it's still much lower than what it was a year ago. So energy's way down. Groceries are way down. Eggs are way down. Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. You've done a great job. Appreciate it. When we came in, the eggs were through the roof. They were 4 times higher than they've ever been. And my first question from you people, well, what are you going to do with eggs? I said, what's the problem with eggs? That was caused by Biden, or whoever was operating the auto pen actually caused it, I guess, because I don't think he knew too much about eggs. Factories are booming compared to before I took office. Domestic auto production is going to be, it's going to be so thrilling in 2 years when you see the numbers, because they're building plants all over the country. They're all coming in because of tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs. And if they build their plant here, they don't pay the tariffs. And they're pouring into our country, and you know about AI and you know about but the auto plants, that's the good old-fashioned stuff that I love. The auto plants are pouring into the United States of America. They're coming from Mexico, they're coming from Canada, and they're coming from Europe, all over Europe. And it's been pretty amazing. So factories are booming. And when they actually open, right now they're booming in terms of construction. This is something given to me by Mark Zuckerberg. And you'll see this is AI now. These are, I never understood. I said, well, because I built shopping centers, and for $50 million, you can build a very nice shopping center. So I never understood when they said $50 billion for a plant. I said, what the hell kind of a plant is that? But when you look at this, you understand why it's $50 billion. So this is one he's building in Louisiana. That's Meta, Facebook, as people understand it to be. But look at that. That's the size of Manhattan. So that's superimposed over the island of Manhattan. It takes up a big part of Manhattan. I think they say 81% of Manhattan. So these are big things, and they're going up. A lot of them are going up now. I don't know that big. Actually, Mark is building 4 of them, and others are building similar places. And when these things open up, I'll tell you what, our country, we're leading China now in AI, substantially leading China. And the reason is because we're letting them build their own electrical facilities. We would need double the energy that if you take all of the electricity that we produce right now in this country, you'd have to multiply it times 2 or maybe 3 times. So 3 times more than we have right now for everything, to operate your toaster and everything else, okay? 3 times more. And the way we are able to succeed, because China goes out and builds these massive plants. They're right now building 58 coal, in this case, almost all coal-fired plants. And coal is back with this country too, by the way. There's a reason they use it, because it's good. It works for them. And we call it clean coal. We don't call it coal. We call it clean, even very clean coal. But we have coal going up. We have nuclear going up. Nuclear is very much in vogue now. It's safe and inexpensive and great. We don't allow windmills. We're not allowing any windmills to go up. I mean, unless there's a legal situation where somebody committed to it a long time ago. We don't allow windmills. And we don't want the solar panels that I was speaking with the secretary about, because they take up, thousands of acres of our farmland. You see these big, ugly patches of black plastic that comes from China. And the solar is, I like solar in some ways, but for firing up your big plants, it doesn't work. It's very unstable, but it really takes up your farm. The farmers are saying, they're building these massive blotches in the middle of the fields all over the country. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So we're not heavy into that at all. And windmills, we're just not going to allow them. They're ruining our country. They're ruining everyone. If you look at I hate to mention countries, but you look at the UK, what's happened in the UK, they have energy costs have gone through the roof. It's because of wind. They want to do everything, close up the northern parts of the country. They have oil that's tremendous. And they closed it up, and they've been building windmills all over the place. but by others. All of a sudden, you're ordering your furniture from China. It was not even close to being as good, but they couldn't compete with it. If we would have said costs 100% or 200% tariff, you wouldn't have lost one job. It's so sad. But we're going to rebuild North Carolina furniture and other places, South Carolina too, to a lesser extent. They make furniture. But furniture, we're going to put a very substantial tariff on. We've already announced it. It'll be done pretty quickly. And when that happens, everyone's going to start. I just tell you, North Carolina, go out and start getting the grandchildren and the children, start teaching them, because some of those incredible artists that I knew as young people, they're older people now, but they still have the talent and they have time left, but they're going to be teaching their sons and their daughters and their grandchildren, and it's going to be a beautiful thing to see. It's going to happen like magic. It's going to happen without question. It's not like, gee, I hope it happens. It's going to happen. The results of Ford that just announced it's going to create 4,000 new jobs, American jobs. Hyundai, 14,000 jobs. General Motors is moving production of the Chevy Blazer and Equinox from Mexico back to the United States where it belongs. Don't forget, we lost 55% of our auto production over the last 35 years. 55%. We were the auto capital of the world. Like there was nobody even think about challenging us. We lost 55% of it to Mexico, Canada, China, a lot to China, and other countries. And it's all coming back. We will be bigger. A couple of years, we'll be bigger than we ever were. We'll be more dominant. We'll be bigger. We make great product, too. We're starting to make really great product. We're going to be bigger than we ever were. We're going to be at the level that it was when we were the only one that really, we sold to the world. And we're going to be back selling to ourselves and other parts of the world. It's not going to be the same, but it's going to be equally as important as it was in the heyday 30 years ago. But we lost more than 50% of the automaking capacity. In fact, the unions, the auto unions, as you know, the top guy didn't know me, didn't like me, and now he likes me. He says, man, I can't believe what Trump has done. But the auto workers voted for me. They understood better than anybody else. The auto workers, the Teamsters voted for me. Teamsters are great. They all voted for me. No Republican has ever gotten the support of the Teamsters and the auto workers. And now the head of the auto workers, I mean, it's so amazing. I watch them on television there. They can't even believe what happened. And I told them all what was going to happen. We secured new market access for American agricultural exports all over the world. Our secretary is doing a great job. Thank you, Brooke. And we have negotiated historic trade deals with the United Kingdom, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Japan, South Korea, who was here yesterday, and the European Union. Foreign nations are now paying hundreds of billions of dollars straight into our treasury, and numbers that nobody's ever seen before. As you know, we made trade deals with a lot of countries, and many of those countries, just to be able to sit at the table, are paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We made a trade deal with the European Union. They were rough on us for a long time. And now we have a very good deal. We made that with them. Trillions of dollars is coming into our country. Trillions. Far beyond billions, trillions of dollars. Wouldn't you say, Scott?
Yes, sir.
And in a short period of time. They have to buy $750 billion worth of our energy product. Energy is great. We have more than anybody else, so we're using it. But the European Union is a done deal, and Japan is done. And, I heard there was a problem with South Korea, but we met yesterday, and they're done. We didn't do anything. We just kept the same deal. He honored the deal. They wanted to see if, I don't even want to say it, but they wanted to see if they could do something. But they honored the deal, which is nice. And we cut the previous record-setting trade deficit, I hear just came out. We cut it in half already. We haven't even said, we've only been here really for a few months because, you know, it takes you a little while to fix up the Oval Office and do those things. prepare for the battle, right? So we really only been here for a very short period of time, and we cut the trade deficit in half. Is that right? That's fantastic. I didn't even think we were going to do that. And remember, these are things that are being built. these things, all these numbers up here, they're not open yet. When they open, you're going to see things happen in the United States that nobody's ever seen before, including our country in its heyday. And I had the greatest economy in the history of our country my first 4 years, despite COVID, which was a very unfortunate situation for the whole world. We did a great job with it, never got the credit for the job we did.
Test, test. Oh, what I was trying to say was okay. We've seen a lot of difference with the automobile industry too. That affects us a lot. There's a lot of things that are being made out of the country. We can do a lot more in house. I don't know how y'all feel about that, being an American, or if there's some non-Americans in here too, possibly. But the economy is one of the most important things. Um, the U.S. economy affects a lot of other countries' economies as well, heavily. I'm gonna let him speak some more too, but I did just want to tap in on that. I do see someone did respond, at least somebody did. Um, do you agree to have troops sent to violent U.S. cities? Yes. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But it's good to still keep a good rapport, at least have conversation with some of the people. A lot of that is still going to make a difference because we have people that just have a negative outlook on authority, on police, and some people even with the military. There's people that join the military, but they'll sit online and badmouth police and other people that are of authority. So it's like there's a lot of mismatching if it's convenient and fits you in your role. I'm not saying that all cops are good. I'm not saying all cops are bad because either statement would be incorrect. When you need help and you have an emergency, you're going to call on somebody. So who are you going to call? Perfect timing for this. Who is your black ass, white ass, Asian ass, whatever ass, you probably don't even know what you even are. Who are you going to call? So I feel like the same people that can't stand military, can't stand authority, can't stand nothing that needs to be in place, or everybody would really be nuts. Who you gonna call then? You gonna call them when you have an emergency, or you gonna work it out for yourself? Have that same energy when you are in trouble. Have the same energy. You hate police, you hate the military, you hate everything. Help yourself out when you're in danger. Then help yourself. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. And it's not about totally always agreeing with someone or not, because I don't always agree with nobody. I just say what I say. And if there are positive things going on in the country or things that I do agree with or don't agree with, I'll speak on them. But I'm not here to create more problems. I like to see the work that's being done and just get it done.
What we were trying to explain to them was going to happen. Everybody's moving back to the United States because they don't want to pay a tax. If they're not here, they have to pay a tax. And it didn't seem that complicated, but it's working at a level that nobody can imagine. This is working $4 trillion, but that's a big number. It's a number that nobody ever heard of before, but 4 trillion is exciting. But that's nothing compared to what's happening, because these places haven't even opened yet. Some of them haven't even started hiring yet. They're under construction. So it's construction jobs, but it's not the big number, and the big numbers, when they open, they're going to be very successful. It's a revolution. We're also working on things to ensure that the awesome power of artificial intelligence is used to benefit all Americans, including American workers and also American children. In that spirit, our wonderful First Lady has just announced a presidential AI challenge. It's going to be a very good challenge, I can tell you. She's put her heart into it, which will inspire the next generation to stay on the cutting edge of this vital technology. This is the new internet, the new computer, the new television, the new everything, all put together in one. This is why when I show you a picture like that, I mean, I show you this. This is a factory superimposed over the island of Manhattan, and you have many of them being built right now all over the country, or soon to start. Some of them. Some of them have started. This one has actually started. That's in the great state of Louisiana. But the First Lady is working very hard on this, and it's an important initiative. And Melania, when she puts her mind to it, nobody can do better. There's nobody. So every young person should go to ai.gov to learn more, ai.gov to learn more. And you'll see it's a great challenge. I think it's going to be a very modern kind of a challenge that involves AI, which is very exciting to people. So I want to thank her, raise a lot of money for children. We're putting America first, and we're going to be putting the American worker first. And, you know, the Republican Party has picked up 4 million new people, 4 million. The Democrats have lost 2.5 million. Other than that, they're extremely happy. No, they're very depressed. They're very depressed. And their new box that they've fallen into is crime. There was a consultant on one of the shows this morning I was watching. I thought he was very good. He's a Democrat consultant. And he was screaming, no, no, don't let him do this to you. Don't let, it's another trap. It's another trap. What he's talking about, like men playing in women's sports. They said that's an 80-20. No, it's a 97-3. It's 97-3, like transgender for everybody. They fought for it. They're still fighting for it. I saw a guy today, a politician that you all know very well, fighting like hell for men playing in women's sports. You don't understand. They're human beings also. Well, I agree they're human beings. But you can't have a 7-foot guy playing basketball with the women. You know, it's just one of those little problems in life. And we all have our place. That's okay. I've got my place too. But this guy's screaming, it's another trap. And this is the worst of all. He said, because this is crime. Trump is saying he's against crime and they're for crime. No, he's going, it was funny. No, it's a trap. Don't do it. And then I saw this poor, stupid Chuck Schumer, the guy. He looks like he's aged 100 years. And I don't like getting into looks. You know, looks don't mean anything, right? When you're in politics, looks don't matter. I look at Pam, I would never say she's beautiful because that'd be the end of my political career. Laurie, secretary. But I will tell you, this is the best of all. And they're going to fight me. Like this slob of a governor you have in Illinois. This poor guy got thrown out of his business by his family. I know the family. I was partners with the family. Nice family. I like the family. But he was no good. They threw him out. He's governor of Illinois. And he goes about Trump, we don't need his help. Chicago is the worst. These places are really bad. Crime in D.C. was the worst it ever was. You know, they make up stories. Crime in D.C. was the worst ever in history. And now, over the last 13 days, we've worked so hard. And we've taken so many, there are many left, but we've taken so many criminals, over 1,000. I watched a man from Maryland who said to me, I mean, sir, you're the greatest president. You're doing an unbelievable job. What a great job. Governor Moore, has anyone heard of him? Mm-hmm. He's another hopeful for president. I don't think so. But I met him, and I didn't realize it was on camera. Did you see they caught him on camera? I was at a game, I don't know, like the Army-Navy game or something, and I met him in a hallway. And as usual, you do your job very well. One of these great cameramen had it on tape. But I met this gentleman, I never met him before. Sir, you're doing a great job. You're doing an unbelievable job. Thank you very much. But then he goes on television and says, oh, Trump is a dictator, he's a dictator. And a lot of people have here. So the line is that I'm a dictator.
They're saying he's a dictator. A lot of people do feel that way. I just want to chime in on what he said about looks. Looks do matter. He likes a good-looking woman. I think part of his administration, they're all fit. At least they're qualified for what he did have them for. But Pam Bondi, and then we have the woman for head of Homeland Security. I think they're there for looks as well, but they also are qualified for the job. That's what I look for too, not just picking someone because of something, their skin or just whatever else. Pick the right candidates so that they can help this cabinet and run the country correctly. No matter who won this election, you're not going to be happy. Some of y'all don't even live in America. You're not going to be happy. You can't make everybody happy. It's just, is the job getting done that the person said they're coming in to do? Trump has been coming in as soon as he came in office. He's been just flying through what he said he was going to do. And I think he did it so fast that it pissed people off. People are too used to stagnated things not getting done, taking forever to still not get things done that you promised you were going to get done for the people. So I think that's a big thing right there. Like I said, he just mentioned Chicago. They may be coming to Chicago. So we'll see what happens. In the beginning with DC, there wasn't that many arrests made. There was very few in the beginning, but then they brought more troops out. But I would like to see a report on what the arrests were for, because I would like to know if a whole lot of them were traffic offenses and not other criminal activity, things like that. So I really like statistics, specifics like that. So I do want to see that too. Yeah, so moving forward, we'll see, because he's going to be he signed some other executive orders early today as well. So I'm just going to get right back into what he's got going on. Yeah.
That are best for the job, as opposed to some woke reason that was killing our country. That was a very strong, very powerful. You can now go into a company based on your ability, as opposed to being forced in based on some factor that cannot make our country great. That was a big decision, very, very big decision. And we've had a lot of great decisions, and we've all made some great decisions sitting around this table. I want to thank Scott. Unbelievable what's happening financially with you and Howard. And Vice President's involved in everything, and he's been great. And Marco has been, really, I think you're born for this job. I don't think you should ever run for another office. I don't think you should, really. You're so good at this. He is so good. And everybody likes him, everybody likes him. But everybody, much more importantly than I think you would say, is respect. They respect Marco. They respect all the people around the table. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to go around the table. You seem to like it. Your audience seems to like it based on ratings. And I want to mention, about crime, because we have a young lady here, Iris, of Epoch Times. You're Iris, aren't you, huh? And I heard you were very savagely mugged in the city, and I'm not going to let that happen under this administration. That was last year. And would you like to mention what happened?
Of course. So first of all, thank you, Mr. President.
You want to listen to this?
For having me here to share my story to the room and to the broader public. My name is Iris Tao. I'm a White House correspondent for NTD, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night ever, and my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right
Thank
now.
you, Iris, for being honest.
Such incidents involve not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23.
Right.
Just starting my career here in DC without even starting a family. Right now, I'm very blessed to have this opportunity.
So you had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell they couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it, which
Correct.
would probably maybe somebody would say that was not the right decision, right?
Right.
But you refused. But I understand that. So and then he hit you real hard.
Yes.
It's really amazing that you weren't shot, though.
I'm very blessed, and that's why having this opportunity to stand here to share my story today. One, I'm very grateful for God for allowing me to still survive to this day, but also to Mr. President. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
And there are other reporters and journalists, good people, and you don't have to say it, but that have also been attacked violently. And not violently, too, pretty badly. But, and I bet you see a big difference in the streets right now. And this is only 12 days, but people are telling me they're going out to dinner now. They haven't, I told the story of my friend, but I have a lot of friends that are going out to dinner all the time now in D.C., and they weren't doing it 12 days ago. They would never even think. One of my friends went out 5 times. It was 4 times the last time I told. Now it's 5 times. He said, I love going out to dinner, and restaurants are starting to open again. A lot of them closed because, you know, nobody wanted to go into a restaurant. Nobody wanted to get to a restaurant or even sit in the restaurant. But you see a big difference now, don't you?
I do pass by Union Station every day on my way home, and I do feel a lot safer seeing the trucks right outside, seeing the National Guard troops members right outside. It does make me feel like I'm hopeful about DC again, and one day hopefully we can raise our family here.
Thank you very much. That's nice. And those are tough troops, too. Those are not politically correct troops. We don't have politically correct anymore. We have tough guys, tough people, including some tough women. But we have tough people, and when you look at them, I tell you, they showed one scene where a bunch of Tren de Aragua guys, or whatever, maybe MS-13, maybe MSDNC, okay? Because to me, they're worse. I think they're worse. MSNBC maybe is worse than Tren de Aragua. Real scum, real dishonest people. But anyway, they went into this gang, I think it was Tren de Aragua, Venezuela, and they weren't nice to this group of people. The gang was calling them sir. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Get out of here, get the hell out of here, you're no good. Get out of here. And yes, sir, yes, sir, yes. These are people that beat up people all day long. And they're calling these soldiers, that's what they are. They're
All right, welcome to Kiy NY7 again. Looking at the comments, a lot of people are uneducated that are Republicans. It's not just that support Trump, but yeah, a lot of them are too. I'm actually an educated one, and I support the truth. So there are a lot of things that I think there's things that have proven that Trump has racist ways with himself. A lot of people that are non-Black have learned, been taught, or however they achieve their racism, they're racist. When you see Trump saying what he's thinking, saying what he's feeling, accept it. There's people that think and act just like him and worse. They're not going to tell you. So I like for people to tell me how they feel, and then we can proceed from there. I live in a world that is greatly against my people. So I would just be careful with feeling like whoever supports his ideas is uneducated and things like that. Because I can hold a conversation, an intellectual one. A lot of them can't. That's the difference between me and a lot of people. I have detailed information. I have details on what I agree with and why I agree with them. So other people can't do that. And that's why when I do live streams on here, I notice people have so much to say, but y'all never give details on what you're talking about. You guys never can pinpoint any talking points. You just blurt out like obscenities, you blurt out name calling, things like that, which is ignorant in itself. So a lot of times people that criticize, I'm not just getting on the person in the chat, I'm just saying, a lot of times before you criticize someone, criticize them right, have some meaning behind what you're saying. Because if not, a lot of times you can sound just as ignorant as those that you feel are ignorant.
People are going out all over the place. They're walking. I have people that work in government, strong, tough cookies. They can take care of themselves, but it doesn't help to have big, strong muscles. And I work out. If a guy's over there with a gun shooting you in your face, you can be the strongest guy in the world. A guy has a gun, shoots you in the face. It doesn't matter how much you've worked out, how many weights you've lifted, how hard you work. And so we have the toughest guys and we have the best guys. And I'm willing to go to Chicago, which is a big trouble, but we have a governor that refuses to admit he has problems, huge problems. Baltimore, Wes Moore was telling me I want to walk with the president. Well, I said, I want to walk with you too someday, but first you got to clean up your crime, because I'm not walking in Baltimore right now. Baltimore is a hellhole. And this guy, I don't even think he knows it. He's another candidate for president. Between him and Newsom, you've got some real beauties, I'll tell you. But if we didn't go into Los Angeles, you wouldn't have the Olympics, in my opinion. You wouldn't have the Olympics. We went in, and the sheriff, the boss, said, thank God they're here. You could see his tape. He said, we were not able to control what was happening. That was the sheriff. And he said it loud and clear. And they're suing us for going in and cleaning up crime. And yet their own sheriff said, on the first or second night, he said, we could have never handled. That was going to be, you were not going to have the Olympics or the World Cup, because that would be, there wouldn't be anything left. They shouldn't have lost 25,000 houses. The water was turned off from the Pacific Northwest. And I was after them in my first administration, turn on the water, turn it on. Nobody could have believed this could have happened. But they had no water in the fire hydrants. They had no water in the sprinkler systems that people put up in their ceilings. There was no water. And yet we have tremendous amounts of water. They send it all into the Pacific Ocean, trying to protect a certain little fish. It's not doing well, because it doesn't do well without water either. And it shouldn't be protected, because it shouldn't be a protected species. But I think that's actually just an excuse. I actually think these people are sick. There's something wrong. So we send hundreds of millions of gallons of water a day into the Pacific Ocean. They turn a valve, and the valve heads out, and we turn the valve back. I actually had to do it using force. We turned the valve back, and now they have water, but not as much as they should have, because they should. And I'm telling Gavin Newsom by this conversation right now, turn the rest of the water on. Turn it on. So things are done that are so sad in this country. Lack of common sense. I like to say the Republican Party is the party with common sense. We're smart, we're sharp, we're this and that. They're smart, but they're radical left people. And they can't help it. They're very smart, but they're radical left, and they're destroying our country. But they're not going to destroy it anymore. So we picked up millions of people in the Republican Party.
All right. So you're saying the difference between the two different political parties. I honestly feel like the real solutions that are going to come for humanity, you can't pick a party. You're going to have to just pick what's right. I'm not big on parties, political parties, because what people are doing now, there's people that agree with Trump. More Democrats that I've seen agree with Trump on a lot of things, but they're scared, they're quiet. In the Democratic Party, there's bullying. In the Republican Party, there's probably bullying too. But there's a different type of bullying with the Democrats that I felt personally, and I'm sure y'all have felt as well. You're told wherever you look like, you belong to that party. If you take Republican Party, and they are mostly dominated by Caucasian white people, right? Why are we going by just the name Republican versus I like their ideas? I like some of what they're doing. What if more other people from other nations, well, America, but of other diverse backgrounds, get together and join the Republican Party? The things that people don't agree with that are Democrats, you have to be able to get rid of your Democratic brain and think of what's going on and what needs to be done right now. That's what part of the answers are going to come from. Sorry if I didn't communicate that clearly. I'm trying. You cannot just go by a political party. I feel like you have to go by who's in charge, who's working on being in charge, and who's really getting the stuff done. The stuff that happens in America is going to affect a lot of other people from around the world. And I understand that more now, more and more. Because when I first was looking and coming online on YouTube, I felt like y'all need to mind your own business. If you're not from America and don't live in America, mind your own business. Possibly even if you're from America, but you moved, I probably still do kind of feel like mind your own business. NYOB, BYOB, bring your own bottle too to drink. Americans go through enough. Coming from New York, we have extra things that come against us. It's extra. And you guys don't even acknowledge it. You knock us. You always got something crazy to say and stuff. And I get it. Sometimes I even laugh. But we are such a divided country. It's sickening. People are getting sick. I'm going to come back on possibly this week if y'all interested to. Hopefully you'll join me. Now it's getting noisy. There's an uptick in child abuse. A lot of abuse, particularly with disabled kids too, mostly what I'm seeing. Like the Emmanuel baby that they're still trying to find. Since COVID hit, we've had a lack of resources coming in. There's been a lack of childcare for people that depend on it. And when I say childcare, that's for disabled children. There's parents losing their noodles because they don't have the support anymore since COVID. It took away a lot of jobs. It took away a lot of people, and a lot of people have just left the industry, a lot of work industry. What you're seeing is people are losing support in areas of their life that are extremely detrimental, and it's playing out in the streets. It's playing out in your home too, because you can't just sit back and watch TV and say, oh, look at them, look at everybody else, oh, look at those Americans, well, I'm not in America, or look at, it's in you too. It's everywhere. And that's why I like talking about astronomy, because what's going on around the earth from outer space is affecting us. And I'm going to show there's an object moving through space coming towards Earth. And they think it might be UFO. I like having like UFO conversations too. So I just want to chime in and say, if you're interested in things like that too, I do have those type of topics on here and how it connects with us. I'm not just here talking. It's not easy to do, but I, do like to express myself sometimes and share ideas with y'all. So I always invite you guys and encourage y'all to chime in the chat room. Nobody's going to come snipe you. If you have something to say it. There is a phone line and there is a live stream line as well. So whichever way, if you want to chime in, just chime in. We all have different ideas. We all have different things. We don't always agree with each other either. That's fine. You know what I mean? But let yourself be heard. A lot of y'all going to bed at night with stuff in your chest that you didn't get off. Don't think because my channel's small that it won't be heard. You're going to be heard. I'm connected with the universe. Trust and believe. If you connect with me, you're going to feel different. And it's always going to be for the up. I'm not here to tear nobody down. I'm here to lift you up. And as we connect with each other, you can enlighten me on things. I learn by listening to y'all too, to understand how you feel and why you feel the way you feel. That's what live streams really should be about, I think. So that's why I do mine like this. I don't care what the topic is. Nothing embarrasses me. Nothing should. I'm a human being. And I feel like a supreme being. And you can't tell me no different. Nothing embarrasses me. Stop being embarrassed. Stop having too much pride in you to express yourself. Stop going to bed with stuff in your head that as soon as you wake up, it's still bothering you and you tossing and turning and you looking for somebody else to help you when you got the answers inside yourself already. Huh? Let's go. Let's each one teach one. Trump ain't the first. He ain't the last.
It was genius.
Well, he the
But
first
they
at
didn't
something.
get away with it. So I'm counting on Bobby. Do you want to start, Bobby? Maybe we'll start with you. You can start with that and then go on to what we're talking about.
We are deep into
my
MFN
bunny ears off my
negotiations,
bunny
most
ears.
favored nation status, negotiations with 14 companies. Howard Lutnick is a breath of fresh air, and I think he's going to help us get across the finish line with the leverage that we have from tariffs.
They're smart. Don't let them get away with it, Howard.
Well, the combination of Bobby's MFN and the 232 Pharmaceuticals, which we launched together, when you put those two together, it really gives Bobby the tools to go execute your plan. So I'm supporting Bobby as he executes his plan.
Good.
Hey there, y'all. See y'all coming in.
And we
I
were,
don't know how to say that.
this cabinet meeting is
Deva
supposed to be about
Kumar.
working Americans, bring jobs back
Deva
to this
Kumar.
country, and particularly rural America. And I want to mention the big, beautiful bill. Right now, we spend 7% of Medicaid dollars on rural hospitals. So they're getting the short end of the stick. It's about $19 billion a year. Under the Rural Transformation Program, we give them an extra $10 billion a year. So we're raising an infusion of cash to rural hospitals and rural communities by 50%. It's going to be the biggest
That's good.
infusion in history, and it's going to restore and revitalize
That's so
these
good.
communities. And we can't survive as a nation if we don't honor our rural communities, which are their source of our values, our virtues, our character, our economy, our food. And you are bringing that back. You are bringing those communities back. I wanted to talk, because you mentioned the wind farms, we now have an interdepartmental coalition, a team, which is Doug Burgum and Howard Lutnick and Chris Wright and Pete Hegseth. We're all working on this issue. And Lee, sorry, Lee. We're all working together on this issue. We're meeting together. There are right now 11 wind farms planned that were launched during the Biden administration. Between Maine and Virginia, it's 1,130 towers. These towers are twice the size of the Washington Monument. The blades on them
They're
are,
massive. It's so crazy.
the
Go ahead.
blades are 300.
This man sounds like he's barely able to talk, too. I forget his
One of
name,
these
but
blades blew up on Nantucket.
he be struggling
last
so
summer.
much for me. I'm like,
And the
you
water's
don't need a
filled with
translator. on
shards
that,
of glass, of sharp glass, so it's dangerous to swim. They had to close the beaches, but they have indemnified themselves so the local communities can't sue them. None of these projects are bonded. If you build an oil derrick in the Gulf, you got to put a bond down. There's no bond for dismantling them, and that's one of the tools that Doug is now using to challenge some of these projects. None of the cost of energy from these projects is 39 cents a kilowatt hour. The average cost in this country is 17 cents per kilowatt hour.
And natural gas is 3 cents.
Right. So it is the most expensive energy. I've been representing commercial fishermen for 40 years. They are so excited about what you're doing, Mr. President, because their fisheries are being wiped out. As soon as they begin construction, the groundfish fisheries just disappear. The fish leave the area. They've killed 160 whales in the last 2 years. So they're wiping out the whale population, the Atlantic whale population, the big whales, the minkies, the gray whale, or the humpback whales, the right whales. And you are going to save the whales on the East Coast because of this. And you're going to save these economies that are based upon commercial fishing. I'll say one other thing about fishing. We are now, the South Asian nations are now dumping shrimp on our country. The shrimp is heavily contaminated. We just stopped a shipment that was contaminated with cesium-157, which is radioactive. They're farming these shrimps, and they use bactericides and antibiotics and all kinds of chemicals, and the shrimp are so contaminated that the European nations won't take them, so they're dumping them all here, and they're putting out of business. We have the most sustainable, highly regulated fishery in the world. What our fishermen do is a good thing. And all of the trawlers in the Gulf and Alaska are being shut down because we're getting shrimp dumped here. So we have now increased FDA inspections of shrimp to make sure that Americans are not buying and eating contaminated shrimp and putting our shrimpers out of business. I talked just very briefly, we have an historic agreement on pre-authorization. We brought together 80% of the insurance industry, which has agreed to, for 80% of diseases and injuries, give immediate pre-authorization so that when you go to your doctor's office and he prescribes you a new knee or whatever it is, you will immediately know whether your insurance company is going to pay for it. This is an historic agreement. People have been trying to do it for decades, and we, because of your leadership, brought the insurance industry together and got them to voluntarily agree to do this. Similarly, we've made another historic agreement with personal health records. The 60 biggest tech companies in our country have all agreed to allow Americans for the first time access to their personal data, which they own, which these companies have been monetizing without permission. You're going to be able to see by next year all of your health records on your cell phone. It's going to save lives. It is going to fuel an infusion of technology into that space where people can access those records. They can compare their diet to what they personally need, and we'll have personalized medicine. We are doing price transparency. You passed this during your first term, and then the Biden administration refused to enforce it. We've now brought at HHS, under your leadership and my leadership, more enforcement actions than during the entire 4 years of the Biden administration. Right. So we're going to have that kind of price transparency. I'm working with Linda on forcing medical schools. And the MCATs, the people who administer the MCATs, the people who do accreditations, to put nutrition into medical school education. Right now, 25% of the doctors in this country do not feel competent to give nutritional advice. 70% of diabetes cases can be reversed or ended if you just change people's diets. And the doctors don't know how to advise it. They only know how to prescribe the drugs. We're going to change that. So if you come out of a medical school under the Trump administration, you are going to know about diet. And then finally, most importantly, the Pete and Bobby Challenge. I want to give an update. Pete I got 5 minutes and 48. It's 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups, and you try to do it within 10 minutes. I got 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Pete beat me. I'm still bitter at that.
I'm sorry, he's struggling a lot. I'm having a hard time with him. But I'll finish. He's probably going to wrap it up after his joke. He speaks on diabetes. Diabetes does affect a lot of people. Diabetes, you're given medication because diabetes type 1 has not been able to be cured. 2, and what there's a combo diabetic diagnosis that can be curable. It definitely can be treated. And people have been cured. I believe it's diabetes 1 that can't be cured. I know that too because the CEO of Rock Nation, straight out of New York, he's been trying to get people to figure out diabetes 1. He said he even pay somebody. He was just saying he wants to get involved in curing diabetes 1. That's been the hardest. So when it comes to that, you can't just say, hey, stop just giving people medication. I would say that about a lot of things then. You know, we got STDs that should have been gone. We got HIV that's doing better now with undetectableness and the medication. But what about herpes? That should be curable. But no, you want to keep giving people pharmaceutical pills. And a lot of people have that. So there's a lot of people depending on those pharmaceutical pills daily or every so often. There are other things that big pharma is just racking up on. And no one talks about this. What's the biggest drug out there? I wonder if y'all can guess. The most people use around the world. It's in their bodies every day, and it's only for women. Yeah, because we're still the only ones that can give birth. Trans Am or whatever you am, we're the only ones that can push these babies out or get unzipped and cut open and there go the baby. Birth control pills and other, contraceptive, not just birth control pills, because there's all type of ways you can have birth control. So that's the number one with pharmaceutical is birth control. Now, a lot of people will get upset and say, well, we want to be able to control the population, though. We want to, okay, like I said, you're depending on drugs to do it. There still is that other method, what they call it, where you know when you can have sex and not to have a kid. So there we go. Deva Kumar, thank you for, did you subscribe? Is that what it says? I can't even see it. Let me move. Oh, it's gone. Thank you. Appreciate it. So I have my strong opinions and views, but I still invite y'all's, whether you agree with me or not. From time to time, I will have the link in the chat like I have now, and there will be a phone line. So either way you can, chime in. Also, sometimes it's fine too if you have something else that's on your mind and you just want to get it off. Or if you wanted to just talk with another energy like myself and you just want to have a conversation, whether it's a little lengthy or whether it's short, I'm here for that too. Because I'm not just here for one thing. I have so many things I work on and so many connections that I've been working on throughout the universe. So I'm that person. I just want to chime in about that because birth control is off the chain. You're almost forced into birth control. When I've been to the doctor, the GYN, it's like they don't ask me any questions. They just say, which birth control you want? Oh, which birth control are you on? Oh, you're not on birth control. Which one would you like to be on? Because we have these new ones. We have it. Who said I want that? As a woman, listen to a woman. Stop thinking all women speak for us because they don't. If women had it so much together, we would be much further by now. And no, I'm not going to blame it on men holding us back. We hold each other back. We just come online and act like we don't. Women hold other women back. It ain't even the men. Centuries ago, yeah, the men was getting in the way and whatnot. And it's women. When the last time you seen a whole bunch of women doing the dang on thing without having a cat fight? I'll wait. Actually, I can't wait because I don't have all day. Women be their own worst enemy. I welcome women here too, of course. I'm one. I'm just not with the bull. Women know that and they get scared because they know I ain't about them games that women play. Not at all. We get stagnated like that. We don't talk about things enough. We're so hormonal. You're geeked up on birth control, wine, and who knows what else. So yeah, I talk about it here. I ain't scared to talk about nothing. I ain't scared of nobody. Why should I be? Should I be? Oh, well, I'm not. All right, we'll get right back into the live. We're a little
Scott Turner.
He made a joke about doing push-ups. He could barely talk, though. I'm like, what's
15
going on with
seconds.
him?
I'm waiting for reports from the rest of the cabinet. The only exemptions currently existing is if you can hit a 50 at Bedminster, which President Trump did with Bryson DeChambeau, so he's the only one exempt in this room. Everybody else.
That's great, Bobby. Bobby, autism, if I could just, I don't want to go too long because we have a lot of people, but the autism is such a tremendous horror show, what's happening in our country and some other countries, but mostly our country. How are you doing on that?
We are doing very well. We will have announcements as promised in September. We're finding certain interventions now that are clearly, almost certainly causing autism. And we're going to be able to address those in September.
It's such a big day. I'm looking forward to that day because there's something wrong when you see the kind of numbers that you have today versus 20 years ago. And those numbers, what are those numbers, Bob?
Well, in 1970, the biggest epidemiological study in history was done in Wisconsin. They looked at 900,000 children and they were looking for autism. They knew what it looked like. And they were very, very precise about it. And they found an incident rate of 0.7, in other words, less than 1 per every 10,000 children. Today, our most recent numbers are 1 in every 31 kids. It's probably actually much worse than that because California which has the best collection system, is reporting 1 out of every 19 children, American children, has autism, 1 in every 12.5 boys. So it's gone from less than 1 in 10,000 in 1970 to 1 in 12.5 boys
Think of
today.
those numbers. So there has to be something artificially.
All right. So you brought up a point too. A lot of people have been saying they do want these Epstein files, which is very interesting to me too. I didn't realize that so many people were so interested in the Epstein files until they promised to show it and then didn't. I personally know and feel that, of course, the victims deserve justice, and whoever is due prosecution needs to get it. But I'm starting to feel like it's different. It's not really about prosecuting predators and pedos, because why are you guys not interested in the everyday pedos and pedophiles that are running around by your child's school today? You do realize they work at the schools too, right? Yeah, they do. They love children, so they like to work around them. So I ask, just a suggestion rather, whether or not you get these Epstein files, care about the community that we're a part of, care about the children that are being touched right now while I'm on live stream. Epstein is gone. He's passed away. I partially feel like it's time to move on. There are so many fish to fry that are out here right now versus whatever's in that file. So unless you guys maybe feel like there's more in the file that they're hiding that's going to make such a big difference in our lives, I question, will it? If you do get more names, then what? Are you going to be satisfied, or you won't be satisfied until they're prosecuted or something? Like, I don't know what you guys are trying to get out of these files, to be honest. Fine. If they said they were going to show the files, I feel they should show them. But I also know that there's so much going on in the day-to-day that we have to be focused on, and we can't keep looking back like, oh, what happened years ago again? What happened in a whole nother country that we probably can't even prosecute because it's not in our jurisdiction? That Epstein Island was an island. We don't have jurisdiction over a lot of these areas where they were sending these young girls. I question the parents. If you're going to bring these pedos and preds, right, you need to bring the parents too. These kids didn't run away. They were sold. Let's be honest with ourselves too. The victim was the children out of this, right? But stop selling your kids. Kids don't get on planes and go to islands and come back home like it's nothing. They were selling these kids. Stop playing. But my thing is this. Let's make some more efforts in saving our kids today, not just blast from the past of this file that you may never even get to see. We have Colorado predator catchers, pred poachers. We got all these people on here. We got Skeeter Jean. Now we got Gideon fat ass running around. He all right, but he don't take it as serious enough for me. This is what I'm talking about. These are people that we should be supporting more too, not just hanging on to a file. I just feel like no matter what happens, Americans are just never satisfied. Even if you got the files, I bet y'all still wouldn't be satisfied. You would have to find something else to be pissed off about, or you know what I'm saying? Like something else is just, it's just not enough. That's my
That as
view.
soon as possible.
We will.
So 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 31 or 34 or 12 if it's a boy. Can you imagine that? 1 in 12. That's for a boy.
On every 12.5
It's
boys.
not even believable that that could be. And that was 1 in 10,000 not so long ago. I've been hearing these numbers, and they get worse and worse every year. There's got to be something. I think there's nothing, including favored nations and everything else, there's nothing that can be, if you can find out the reason that that's happening, and I know we're gonna do some things. I think it's,
We
I
will
think,
have that answer
I think
for you.
I think we maybe know the reason, and I look forward to that press conference, to be with you on that press conference. That's going to be a great thing. Thank you, Bob. You're doing
Thank
a
you,
great
Mr.
job.
President.
Linda, how about it? And we want nothing less than $500 million from Harvard. Don't negotiate, Linda. They've been very bad. Don't negotiate. Go ahead.
All that's working well. Mr. President, thank you very much. Since we are focusing today on Labor Day, and I know that Kelly and Lori are both going to echo some of the things that I'll say as well. We are really focusing, on our workforce. But what I'm finding with great joy around the country is that states really are being innovative and working more with middle schools and with high schools to make sure that we are having hands-on learning. There are pathways to jobs that are happening now. And if we see more and more of our community colleges working with our middle schools and our high schools so that high school students are graduating not only with a diploma, but a certificate that they have worked with, perhaps with a Toyota or another company that is coming in, public-private partnerships. And they're learning on the job so that when they graduate from high school, they're ready to go into the workforce, because we know with all of these wonderful jobs that are coming back into the country through AI, through just our normal jobs, we need electricians, HVAC operators, etc. If we don't have this training, we're not going to have the workforce we need for all these wonderful jobs. So governors are really excited about this prospect. I've been now to several states and visited community colleges and tech schools with governors, and they're just all on board for getting this done. I think it's one of the best things that we're hearing relative to the job market. So we're just kind of focusing on that for today.
So we're bringing education back to the states, to put it in a more simple fashion. We're going to let the states educate our children again. And, we're rated out of 40 countries, we're 38, 39, or 40. So obviously, it's not working what they've been doing for the last 30, 40 years. And if you go back, the best are like Norway, Denmark, Sweden, some of the other, Finland, they're very highly rated. If you go back to just take a look at anything you want to do, you just look at us in the past. If we gave Iowa or gave Indiana or gave, and I don't say every one of them, a guy like Gavin Newsom's not going to do well. Certain states won't do well. But even California, you cut it up into sections. You have Riverside, you have this, you have that. You cut it into 5 sections. And, if you had a good governor, you'd be able to do well. But certain states will be able to compete with Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and everyone. It'll be just as good. So I figure you have close to 40 of those states. Mm-hmm. And then you'll have 10, you'll have 5 that won't be very good. You have 5 disasters, and we'll have to work on those disasters. But for the most part, we will have education that will go zooming up in those charts, just like we have in everything else we've done. And I think it's one of the most important things we're doing at this table. So bringing education back to the states where you have the parents running it, where you have the school boards, they're local. We have people running from Washington that have never even been to the state that they're in charge of. They've never even been there, and I don't think they care about it. So we want to close up the Washington buildings, sell the buildings off, let somebody else get rich with the real estate, because it'll be a crime-free city. By the way, speaking of that, anybody murders something in the Capitol, capital punishment, capital punishment. If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., we're going to be seeking the death penalty.
But you're nobody till somebody kills you. R.I.P. Biggie Smalls. That's what he said. All right. Capital punishment, all that. We'll see how far he gets with that. But as far as we're having the areas where there's no crime, there's no such thing. Crime is always going to be committed. Crime is always going to be committed. I live in the real world. You can cut down and crack down on crime. That'll be a good effort to make. There's no such thing as no crime. It's never been that way. So it's not going to happen. The more violent crime, and Americans in general have become very more violent. I saw our escalating in our violence just before or around COVID time. But really looking at how other countries talk about America and Americans gives a good sense of the fact that we look like a bunch of chaotic, crazy Looney Tunes in America. We look like spoiled brats that have so much. We're the wealthiest country, quote unquote, because that ain't really true. Africa's the richest continent and always will be. But they say we're the wealthiest, whatever. Okay. We're looking like loose cannons, and the loose cannons coming in all races. So we need to get that straight too. There's a man in the chat, and I appreciate him just subscribed from India. So that's really interesting to me too. India's been off the chain too. But we have such a big melting pot in America, but you can't just point the finger at one area or the other. We have to just get it together in general. The burning of the flag, there was a man that just recently burned a flag. I believe it was in DC, right? He's being prosecuted, but they want to up the charges on him because when he gets convicted, because he's proud of what he did, they want to make an example out of him. So I don't know. How do y'all feel about that? It was never okay to burn the American flag. It's always been illegal. But they're saying it's not really as illegal as it should or could be. So they want to make changes with that. And I'm sure Ms. Pirro is behind them with that too, former Judge Pirro. Yeah, so what they're doing is upping the, what is it, the prosecution on some of these crimes if they are to be committed. And I get it. They want to use it as a deterrent. They want to deter people from continuing to commit these crimes. It'll help some, but what do we do when the troops leave? They got to go home sometime, right? First, they were going to come for a day or two. Then they said, let's keep them for a week. And they said, let's bring more in. So I question, how do y'all feel about when the troops leave? They can't just stay and babysit. They got to go too. So what if the crime goes back up once they leave? Or what if it stays the same while they're there and when they leave? Crime isn't really going to stop. It can go down some, but it doesn't work to just invade and bully. You know what I mean? You have to engage with the community, because once you engage and make people more comfortable, more information is going to come out too. All right. You got too many people, and particularly Black people, that have been wronged so much that there's no trust. There's just no trust. There's Black people that'll lay on the side of the road somewhere and just finish dying before they'll call the police. And they're not even the ones that say they hate the police. They're just scared. I come after some people that say they hate the police and they hate. You shouldn't even be living with hate. You letting people that hate your people or just you tell you that you're supposed to hate a group of people. Hate can teach hate. You can't be hating people. I could never be hated so much, or my people hated so much that now I live with hate. I don't operate that way, because once you hate, the devil's got your soul. You no longer own it. I'm going to always own my soul. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to always own my soul.
Of the world, bring back American auto jobs. What we are accomplishing now, again, wouldn't be possible if not for your leadership. I'm grateful to the American people for electing you and our amazing vice president. I was just in Mexico City announcing and signing on behalf of the Trump administration an agreement with Mexico for a permanent solution for the Tijuana River sewage crisis, which you have been so outspoken and passionate about in our conversations. It would not be possible if not for Secretary Rubio, Deputy Secretary Landau, U.S. Ambassador to Mexico Johnson. The team at the State Department has been incredible. The work with the NEDC on permitting, to be able to get new pipelines built, to get new factories started. The list, it's amazing. You know, somebody out there might not realize the relationship between the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Defense. The amount of work with Secretary Hegseth and the Army Corps, from responding to the LA wildfires, to getting more water flowing in California, which is also something that Secretary Burgum is involved with, to helping the farmers, the ranchers and landowners to revise the waters of the United States definition so they don't have to go hire an attorney or consultant to tell them whether or not a water on their property is subject to federal regulation. Thank you for putting this entire team together. It's an honor to be at the Trump EPA, where we choose to both protect the environment and grow the economy. It's a very happy Labor Day for America's workforce.
And Lee, in Los Angeles, if you could, because of the fires, Lee was there, and as you know, we have very strict federal rules having to do with the rebuilding of those houses. And Lee was able to get the approvals done for everybody immediately. It was so fast, nobody could believe it. And the mayor and the governor still haven't gotten their approvals. And they're gonna have riots out there for that reason. These are great homeowners. They wanna build a house, they can't get approved because you have the mayor, Bass, who has no idea what she's doing. And you have a governor who is just such a bad governor. And the people are unable to build their house. The toughest permit to get was the federal permit by far. And yet he got them all in a short period of time after the fire. How long did it take?
Well, Mr. President, you came in, signed an executive order, and told the EPA that we had less than 30 days to complete our hazardous material removal, which the initial response, once all of our heart rates went down a bit, was just to figure out how to get it done. We got it done in just less than 30 days. The Army Corps of Engineers then comes in for the debris removal.
All right. So they're speaking on the last wildfires that came out of California, right? The issue with Mayor Bass that I know I had personally was the fact that she downplayed everything while right behind her, everything was ablaze. And she came out and said, "We're Angelonians. This is nothing for us." I mean, you know, there is burning, but we'll build it right back up again. Tell that to people that lost their pictures. You can't bring those pictures back. You can't bring those memorabilia back from their family of generations behind. So what you need is politicians that have a feeling, that have a heart. When you feel, you're not going to just come out here acting like nothing's going on. You keep your people calm, but you can still do it with the truth. She downplayed it too much. And now they're taking forever to give people permits so that they can rebuild. They're waiting on them. Trump came in here and got it done quicker. So I'm mentioning this because there were people that their lives are in shambles now because they lost so much from these fires that should have never kept going. But part of the fires that kept going wasn't on Bass's fault. It had to do with the head person of the firefighters because they showed her. She didn't come out and tell Bass how bad things were getting. And that's why things just started going more and more ablaze. And people to this day right now are still waiting like, come on, when am I going to get some of my money back? I pay my homeowner's insurance. Where's the money at? What you need? Aflac, or whatever insurance you're going to use. Get a good one. Because remember that one insurance left them behind once those flames started coming? Who was it? I don't want to call out the wrong one. Was it the one with Jake from State Farm? I think it was State Farm. Isn't that the one that just has such lovely and fun commercials? Progressive has fun commercials. Yeah, forget the fun stuff. Where's the people's money at? How are they supposed to rebuild? And then you tell them to rebuild where they just had all the smog. Y'all better keep that water right. Mayor Bass made a point that Angelonians have went through this before many years ago, but it was never at this magnitude because you're not paying attention. A lot of this has to do with global warming. The atmosphere around this planet has been warning us for centuries to get it together or we're done. This isn't just California. It's going to be everywhere. That's why you're seeing dust storms going on in the West Coast to where you can't even see from miles away. And there's more to come. We got screw worms screwing around with us going inside a human now. And it's a flesh-eating parasite. But wait till the parasite enter the body that controls the brain. There are parasites. You can look it up. It's on YouTube as well. There are parasites out here that control your thinking. I'm not making this up. I wish I was. But I would have to have a punchline with it because then it wouldn't even be funny. Life is serious. Things are taking its course and it's changing to see how much humanity we have in us. That's what I think a lot of this is. It's a test. And damn it, we've been failing.
The federal government in clearing over 13,000 properties that were destroyed because of these wildfires. We've got to the point today where property owners all across Los Angeles, they're grateful to the Trump administration. They're happy that we did our part, but they are desperate to rebuild. And there is not a single green light approval that they are waiting for from the Environmental Protection Agency The EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers proudly have done our work. It's important for those local officials to let these property owners build on their land. It's their property. It doesn't belong to the mayor of Los Angeles. And they need to represent their people better. They're ready to build.
When will they have their permits from Los Angeles?
Well, here's the problem, Mr. President, is that they have been ready since the moment we were done with the federal part. I mean, I was visiting a week after. Actually, I thought my first trip was going to be to Los Angeles. However, the moment I got confirmed, the vice president said, "You're going to East Palestine right away." So that actually ended up being the first visit because the vice president's so passionate about that from the great state of Ohio. Then we went to Los Angeles from there. We're talking about the beginning of February, where we were meeting with property owners already. They were already all set up. They had the contractors. It was the beginning of February, and they were waiting for green lights from Los Angeles to be able to go onto their property and start rebuilding. Some of the same people who were waiting for a green light ready with the contractors at the beginning of February are still waiting now in the middle of August. Let these Californians rebuild.
And they're talking about also taking away some of the properties and building low-income housing on those properties. They're going to have problems like they've never had before. These people don't know what they're doing. So we have all our permit. Everything the federal government has to do was done long ago. They should have been. I went to a town hall with Lee, but we were there, and the mayor was saying it would take 2 years, maybe 3 years to get this approved. I said, no, not 2 years, 2 days. They should have it in 2 days. And I toured the site, and I met 100 homeowners, all standing in front of this site a couple of days after the fire, and they were ready to go right then. They wanted to just build right then. And the city won't let them do it. Los Angeles, I don't think it's that they won't. I think they're incompetent, okay, to be honest with you. I think they just don't know how to go about it. It is so badly run by Newsom and by Mayor Bass. Mayor Bass, she was in Africa during the fire. She knew the fire was starting to rage, and she decided to take a trip to Africa.
I got to stop you right there. That's not true. She was already in Africa. There's no way she could have predetermined that this fire was going to come. All right. So she was already in Africa. You can't get mad at somebody because they're on a trip. She should be on a trip in Africa. Okay. All of us need to go. While she was gone, like I just was saying, the head woman of the fire department in that area was supposed to reach out to Mayor Bass. She took her time. And when she did finally say something, she downplayed the destruction that was already occurring and to come. So when Bass was on her way back, she's thinking like, oh, I got to take care of this, whatever, right? She had no idea it was this bad. That's why they let her go. Look it up. They fired that head firefighter. The chief, she's gone. She's gone. And Mayor Bass had to look in the camera and know everyone was blaming her because it seemed like she was taking forever to respond. All right. So that part is not true. And I'm making it clear. Now, when she did get here, like I said, she also, to me, downplayed the destruction I guess, to keep her peoples calm, her Angelonians, which is kind of a weird term, but she did that. And that wasn't right. She was like, hey, we'll just rebuild, right? Man, if you don't give people their money and don't let it happen again, like Trump's been saying, open up those other water wells, the piping there. That's what it's for. Oh, let me get to the other thing. Thanks for answering too. I finally got some answers in here. So I put a question poll in the chat. It reads, do you agree to have troops sent to violent U.S. cities? Oh, most of y'all are saying no, 61%. 39% says yes. So we're at 28 votes, almost got 30 votes. I personally say go ahead and do it. But I say do it the right way to make a real difference. You know what I'm saying? You can even be recruiting people that may want to join the military. Let's talk about why we have military. Let's talk a little bit about foreign affairs, which I'm into. All right. Let's talk about your community that you need to want to save as well. We cannot just be Black folks, whatever kind of folk. All right. Sitting back, knowing that crime is out of control, but you don't want nobody else coming and helping. Well, then you better do it.
They're just bad. You know, you talk about make America
That's
great
how I
again.
feel. That's what I
They
see.
can never
I've been
make
studying
America
crime
great
for
again, but we are
over
doing that.
20 years. Please.
Congratulations, you found some interesting things, Tulsi. She's becoming a bigger and bigger star every day. She found a lot of good things. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. As we approach Labor Day weekend here, this is just such a great opportunity really to recognize your leadership as a true champion for working people. And I know we'll hear, as we go around the table here, how your focus singularly on putting the well-being and interests of the American people first is that common thread that we're seeing in your policies being implemented across your administration. For ODNI, number one, our focus is and must always be making sure that our intelligence community is focused on our mission, keeping the American people safe, secure, and free. We're doing great work on this front. I'll point out our National Counterterrorism Center, led by Director Joe Kent, are working across different agencies with Homeland Security, DEA, FBI, and others to catch terrorists, both those who are trying to come into our country, those who may already be in our country. They are finding the worst of the cartel bosses and making sure that they're not able to continue to wreak havoc and terror in our
That's good to hear too. Some of the people that are like the top violent people and some people that are from other countries and stuff, they just got too much going on. They got too much going on. And don't get it twisted. I do believe in street justice too. I've been around all kind of people that do all kind of crime. Not all kind of crime, but certain crime, all that type of stuff. They're human beings too. But there's a difference. It's out of control at this point. Someone made a point that Trump has corporate not paying taxes and he don't pay while Americans have to pay. Yeah, we have to have fair taxation policies. We definitely do. But to say Trump doesn't pay taxes isn't true. Everyone pays taxes. The only people that don't pay taxes is if you live in Massachusetts and you're in the US. Okay. So everything you do, almost, there's a tax attached. So we all pay taxes. As far as not paying as much tax, yes, he's going to go with the highly wealthy people because that's the bracket that he's in. And I will say this too. I don't agree with overtaxing people because they have more money. Everyone should have the same tax bracket, other than when you go to file your taxes, though. I would probably have to open up the form to really get into that. But there's certain things that you qualify to not have to pay taxes on, and then you do. If you are rich, wealthy, you should pay your fair share of taxes. Absolutely. But just because you're wealthy doesn't mean that I should be able to come in and say, well, there's some low income people over here, so I'm going to charge you more taxes because you got it like that. It's almost like going to your rich cousin and saying, you're rich, we didn't really make it like that. You're more successful, so I want you to like pay for us to go out a lot of the time. I want you to pay my taxes. That's not fair to the person that's successful. We can't just keep thinking with a low budget mind. We can't keep thinking like a broke person. I'm being honest with you. Being a broke way of thinking is wanting to see your way out, but it's got to be through someone else. The Democratic Party has always charged people that have more money, more taxes, but unfairly. There's a difference. If you're in a different tax bracket, you do pay a different amount of taxes, but you can't just sit here and say, I want to tax like 50% more onto people that are rich. Make them pay more. Why do they have to pay more? Because they got it. We can't have the answer because they got it like that, just because you don't have it like that. One day you might be rich and then you're going to feel the same way. Hey, I want to pay my fair share. But you're not going to tell me I have to pay extra, 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 read all about it because y'all are broke, because y'all are lower income. That's not fair. Thank you for subscribing, Eshwad Prasada. I can't even see the whole thing. That's weird, but thank you. Y'all have some interesting names too. Y'all hear me trying to put the accent in with it too. Some of y'all might be hablo español, Spanish, or a little bit of other stuff. I know languages too. But I do have to say that, you know, it has to be fair taxes. I absolutely don't believe in, it's like you're penalizing people because they're rich. It feels like a jealous way to be. You know, it feels like a selfish, dishonest way to be. Just because you're lower income doesn't mean you get to tug on the funds that someone else made for themselves. So if y'all understand what I'm saying, I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that. It's not okay. So that's my point. Okay. We'll get right back into what they got going on.
And telling the truth to the American people. And we've exposed some of the
I
worst
appreciate y'all
examples of the
comments, every
weaponization
single
of
one.
intelligence in the last several weeks. I will continue down that mission and that path wherever it leads. Transparency, telling the truth is what will drive true accountability for the American people who deserve nothing less. And lastly, Mr. President, all of us are charged with being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. I've gone through a reorganization for ODNI that we've announced in the last week. We've cut nearly half of redundant, unnecessary functions within ODNI, saving taxpayers over $700 million a year. We will continue focusing on our core mission in keeping the American people safe, and appreciate your leadership and your focus on this most critical task.
And you've also found many bags of information. I think they call them burn bags. They're supposed to be burned and they didn't get burned, having to do with how corrupt the 2020 election was. And when will that all come out?
Mr. President, I will be the first to brief you once we have that information collected. But you're right, we are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices, in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others that have caused really immeasurable harm to the American people and to our country.
Great job. Thank you. We look forward to hearing it. The public looks forward. Thank you very much. Administrator?
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, everyone knows there's no stronger advocate for hardworking American families than you, sir. Thank you for the largest tax cut in American history for working families. The average family of four is going to save about $10,000 take-home pay more a year. And what we're seeing is an increase in the child tax credit, the increase in the standard deduction. Hardworking families are going to benefit from this bill, and small businesses. There's no bigger beneficiary than Main Street, because small business makes up 99% of all businesses in this country. I've traveled to nearly half of our states, 24 unique states. I've made 40 state visits. In fact, I was with our great vice president at a small business manufacturer in Georgia last week. I was with a trucking company in Ohio. I was in Michigan at a motorcycle manufacturer. The return of Made in America is going to be driven by small businesses, because 98% of all of our manufacturers in America are small and medium businesses, 600,000 factories that employ 5 million people. And as Secretary McMahon mentioned, this work-based learning that is going on in professional and trade schools is real. I've visited them from Utah to Maine to Georgia and seen this revolution in education happening. So small businesses need skilled labor. Now that you solve for inflation, for the taxes, every Democrat voted for a $4 trillion tax increase on the backs of hardworking Americans. And so you prevented that. And now we've got fair trade. And thanks to Administrator Zeldin, we're seeing deregulation. I mean, this diesel exhaust fluid crushed farmers and construction and other heavy industry. So rolling that back makes a real difference for small business. And your domestic economic agenda is amplified through small businesses, which is why small business optimism is above its 53-year average, finally. Yeah. And so Main Street appreciates it. What Main Street wants now is a rate cut. They feel burdened by high interest rates. They would grow higher and expand more if they could, but the interest rates are really hurting them. And finally, I want to say thank you for your executive order on debanking. We're about to announce a major investigation on debanking. It happened to you and your family. It happened to me. It happened to thousands and thousands of Americans. And unfortunately, disproportionately on those that had conservative values, on Christians, on pro-life, on 2A businesses. And so we're going to
All right, I wanted to chime in on that too. We can't blame Trump for what's going on with Israel and the money Israel's been getting. The United States has been backing Israel from day one for years now. Anything Israel wants, Israel gets. I believe Israel's the Holy Land, if that's where Jesus was, if that's where a lot of our holiness began and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But I know that these are not the original Israelites that are running things. If they were, they wouldn't even believe in war. If they were of the righteous original people in Israel, we would have never been in any war. It goes against the holiness of the land on which it was built. We can't blame Trump for what he is doing and funding when he has to. His hands are basically tied. He's publicly spoken out against what Israel is doing, which no other president has. If you know of someone else that's a politician, a top politician, please put it in the chat. Otherwise, I know I'm right with what I'm saying. What we tend to do is whoever's in office gets blamed for everything. If Kamala Harris had made it and won, she would be being blamed for everything too. It doesn't matter who's in office. It's already there. He's told Israel to chill out. Israel don't want to chill out. Israel is used to getting its way. They're very spoiled. Gaza, Hamas, and the Palestinians, they're being murdered left and right. No one's doing enough about it. These are men that have ego trips and they want power. The interesting thing is they have the same characteristics of most human men. All you men are the same when it comes to control and ego a lot of the times. Montuck. I'm trying to get your name. You're not in the chat, but look like you just subscribed. Thank you. Appreciate that. I see I got some smart people in here. That's good. And I definitely appreciate the dialogue with you guys too. I just firm on my how I feel about things, but I do consider what other people are saying too. So don't ever think that when you come in the chat, I'm arguing with you or I can't stand, no. That's why the link is there. It might not be there now. I'll put it back in there. And there's a phone line too to call in. So you can always speak your mind too. I'm not gonna cut you off nothing. You can say what you want to say. I encourage it. So I like it because this is how we have dialogue. We can't just have a one-track mind and think that everyone thinks the same. We all have our different ideas. It's just if I see something and I think it's incorrect, I'm going to correct it. And if you think I'm incorrect, by all means, correct me. You said paying taxes isn't a rule. Yes, it is a rule. It's a law to pay taxes. That's why you came in saying that Trump doesn't pay taxes. Everyone pays taxes. He just doesn't believe. There's a lot of ways where Trump wasn't being as fair with saying, no, rich people shouldn't have to pay so much. I'm saying as well, rich people shouldn't have to pay as much, but you still have to pay your fair share. My point is just because we have low or poor people doesn't mean that just because we have rich and wealthy people that they should help cover us or those that need the help. That's all I'm saying. When I said that part. So as far as Israel, there was nothing he could really do about Israel. It's already been done. It's already been done.
be talking to the banks about that. The SBA operates the largest government business loan.
And y'all have to start looking at
The
morale
federal government. We have a network of 5,000.
and find out the truth because a lot of media is lying.
Great job. You're doing a great job.
Scary
Thank you
how
very
much they're lying, y'all.
Christy?
Well, Mr. President, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to work for you. And you committed when you ran for president to make America safe again. And today, the average family and individual that lives in this country is safer than they've been in years because of what you've done. We've got 3 months in a row now with 0 illegal aliens coming into this country. And I want to thank Pete and the Department of Defense for all of their help. They're down at the border with us still, helping us keep that border secure and make sure we know who's coming into this country. You've arrested and brought to justice hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens, criminals that have perpetuated violence against American people. Sir, you've had 1.6 million people voluntarily go home to their home countries that were here in this country illegally. Because of your strong message and you enforcing the law, They decided to go home on their own so that they could come back the right way someday and be American citizens. But what I think is one of the most remarkable statistics is that under Joe Biden's administration, 88% of new jobs went to foreign-born individuals. Under your administration, 2.5 Americans have jobs today that they didn't under the previous administration. And they have those jobs because you created opportunities. You made this country safe, you opened up the economy, you enforced the law. Now people can get up and provide for their families and go to work every day and be confident in that. And the last thing I would say is that it's incredibly important to know that every one of those illegal aliens that has gone home, they were costing us about $8,700 to $9,000 a piece in what they were taking out of our social programs, out of Social Security. You've saved this country billions of dollars, about $15 billion, just in what those illegal aliens were costing us in social programs. I've cut over 450 different contracts at the Department of Homeland Security. We're getting rid of corrupt ones that were not efficient for taxpayers, weren't focused on our mission of keeping us safe. And we've also renegotiated and brought in our biggest vendors that said you have to do better. And we've saved the taxpayers over $13 billion doing that as well. So we're continuing to be accountable to taxpayer dollars, but sort of focused on doing the mission of what you've committed, and that's to keep us safe and to make sure we put Americans first.
Well, great job, and great job on the border. We had millions and millions of people coming in. To think 3 months in a row, 0.
Incredible.
That's some job. Thank Tom and everybody, and Pete, good job. Not surprised. Thank you very much. Chris, please.
Mr. Chris. Sorry about that, Mr. President. Like Secretary Noem, I'm thrilled to be here to work with you on the simple platform you were elected on, which was to bring back the American dream, to bring jobs and opportunity for families across the country and to lower their costs so they can live their lives and expand the choices they have. You led off today talking about gasoline prices. I'll throw in diesel. If you correct for inflation, they're at multi-decade lows. This is a huge expense. This is a huge constraint on people's lives. We should celebrate that. Natural gas has become our main industrial fuel powering factories around the country. Natural gas prices are quite low in this country, and they're lower than in any country in the world. The reason for that is the United States produces 2 times more natural gas than the second largest natural gas producer in the world, and 4 times more natural gas than the number 3 and number 4 producers in the world. So you've opened up American opportunity and energy together with the work of Secretary Burgum, Administrator Zeldin, Secretary Lutnick, Secretary Rawlins. You know, we've made it easy to produce energy in America again, and those benefits are flowing. I could go on about this stuff forever, but let me talk about one specific area of energy, electricity. That's in the front of people's minds. When the day you were inaugurated, we get hold of all the data. We can look at the resource plans of utilities across the country. What you inherited when you arrived was a plan over the next 5 years to close 100 gigawatts of reliable electric generation. So that's 100 large power plants. Now that was offset with a plan to build 22 gigawatts of reliable electricity generation. Their plan was to close more than 4 times as much electricity generating capacity as they were going to build in that 5-year period. How do we lead the world in artificial intelligence if we're shrinking our supply of reliable electricity? How do we reshore steel and aluminum and automobiles and semiconductors and all those jobs Americans want back in our country when we're degrading and shrinking our energy system? We were going to hand that leadership to China in artificial intelligence, not just to our economic loss, but to our huge national security loss. Your team around this table, and almost everyone around this table is involved in it, is just to completely pivot dramatically. We're stopping the closure of all these plants way before their retirement date. Some plants get to their end of life,
All right, welcome back. This is Kiy NY7. Um, watching some of the live meeting that President of the United States, Donald Trump, is having with the U.S. cabinet. They're discussing a lot of things and things that people have been wanting to know about and get some updates on. There's a lot going on in the United States. There's a lot of troops being released in violent cities and et cetera. And there's a lot of pushback from that too. Um, I'll probably rock out with y'all maybe another 10 minutes, and that'll make a full 2 hours, which is longer than I've done in a very long time. I appreciate the dialogue with you guys coming through too. I'm open-minded person, but I do have my views. And I like when people express theirs. It's encouraged here on this channel. Consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and chatting. You guys are very stingy with your likes. I tend to be a little stingy with my likes too, but I know if somebody's coming up here and they doing a dang on thing, you can simply click like. But I know you guys just like to give your opinion more than support. That's just what it is. But the same thing you put out in the universe is what y'all gonna get back. Just so you know. Just so you know. If you didn't know already. So we got 41 votes. The question that I put as a question poll in the chat was, do you agree to have troops sent to violent U.S. cities? Most of you guys are saying no. That's interesting. 67% are saying no to the troops coming in. 33% of y'all are saying yes. Interesting. All right. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. What I said, 10 more minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna last. I probably will. But just kind of get with the program. This is a live stream. I mean, if you don't want to ever talk, you don't want to participate at all, why watch live? You know, I mean, when you think about it, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're doing it for some other
We
reason.
weren't going to build big things in America anymore. We're just going to keep sending it over to Asia and overseas and just buy other people's stuff. Totally nuts economically, totally nuts for national security, and of course crushing for working Americans, particularly Americans that work with their hands. But we are seeing a revitalization of those people, of that optimism. You showed that picture of that plant being built in Arkansas, dozens of those under construction, just in artificial intelligence. But the reshoring of steel, of aluminum, of plastics, of fertilizer, semiconductors. Like this, America's the land of opportunity. How did we get to become this awesome nation? Because we believed in the American dream and we leaned in on it. But the wealthy in our country and the coastal elites that live away from where stuff's actually made, they just lost their way, and politicians just let them have it. Your tireless campaign and your relentless
Over 50
messaging.
people in here, so I know it's probably
Many
way
people
more than
realize the
that.
American
Y'all could
dream
feel free to
isn't
hit the
dead.
like button. I got a
It's just
lucky
been
number
smothered,
7 likes.
and
That's
we're
it.
unsmothering it and setting it loose.
Participate,
God bless your efforts. God
hit
bless
like
your assembly
sometimes,
as this team around the
subscribe,
table,
or
bring the American dream back.
chill and see if it changes your
Great
mind.
job,
If not,
Lori.
keep it
Appreciate
pushing.
it. Lori, please.
Mr. President, everybody here who spoke works at the Department of Labor, clearly, which I love. They have all the correct talking points, but I think that's a testament again that we are all working together every single day. We talk to each other often, and the workforce, the skilled workforce, the education factor, retirees, it's been so important because they all touch the Department of Labor, and I have the opportunity to work with every single one. If you all haven't stopped by the Department of Labor, Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor, because you are really the transformational president of the American worker, along with the American flag and President Roosevelt, because we're bringing business and labor together. And I was so honored to unveil that yesterday, and everybody is taking note of that. You also mentioned crime, and I think it's been important for my colleagues to recognize that now American workers can return to work and feel safe. That business owners aren't shutting down their businesses because they're afraid they can't protect their workers, and now it's open for business again, and it's starting right here in our nation's capital. Many things have been mentioned about consumer confidence up, unemployment is holding steady, and more than 2 million net jobs for native-born Americans has been key under your leadership. 84% of the workforce and jobs has been produced by the private sector. I think that was the mission of this administration and the Department of Labor. And I will continue to say for a little bit longer, until I heard you today, the one big beautiful bill, because it equals one big beautiful workforce.
That's what we got from there. Hopefully you're not referring to me because I've been living with it. I don't have an issue with it. It seemed like a lot of y'all have an issue with it. The man was voted in. He ain't cheat his way in. Before I had questions like, is he cheating? Like years ago. He made it. He won because y'all voted him in. If you didn't vote him in, you dang sure didn't really vote Kamala in. And if you did, you lost. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But I ain't playing with y'all too tough. I'm done. Y'all need to get more active. But everyone that did, I appreciate you. And I hope to see y'all back. You subscribe. Go lick on yourselves or something. That's probably what y'all do. Y'all fantasize about whatever nonsense, and then you go and like the hell out of that stream. You'll sit there and watch somebody sleep and like the stream because you going brain dead. Y'all better start paying attention. Y'all might got them parasites in y'all right now. Don't just be scared of the screw worm. Be scared of that worm parasite that come in and mess with your heads because it controls you. You guys aren't thinking independently. You're going with the flow. What's everybody else saying and doing? Because that's what I need to do. No, that's why you're lost. That's why you keep losing elections. The man won. The man said he was going to do what he was going to do, and he did it. He's doing it now. And if you get in the way, you're going to get it too. And I agree, especially with the immigration stuff, influence. If you get in the way, you're going to get it too. You come to New York acting stupid, you're going to get it too. Straight up. Because there's way more people just like me. Some are stronger than me too. So you're going to have a real reckoning to deal with them. But y'all got to get it together. Y'all, you know, it's like y'all brain dead. Y'all just sit there and stare at the screen. What thoughts you got going on? Express them thoughts, because I'm telling you, it's going to eat you alive, flesh eating alive, before any parasite get to you. You ain't got to worry about a parasite when you're one of them. You got all these people on this planet walking around not even trying to solve no problems. All y'all do is complain. This channel ain't about complaining. Y'all can call in. The link is right there while I'm here. I've got a few more minutes with y'all and I'm leaving. Because y'all ain't, you know, the ones that did participate, I appreciate y'all. But the rest of y'all just be sitting back, always wanting everybody else to do the work. Wanting other people to remind you of what history has done. Wanting everybody else to do the research for everything. And then y'all can't even give back a little bit. Really? Then they question why the nation is sinking like it is. It's because you guys are a bunch of sitting ducks. That's why. Y'all not making no difference. Y'all don't attend meetings. Epstein files. Yeah, Epstein files up your ass. Work on the kids that's out here being affected right now. What are you talking about? Make some kind of efforts in life. Sign some petitions. Join in with people like myself, whether you agree with me or not. We out here doing the damn thing live or sometime pre-recorded. Join in and help. If not, you're part of the problem too. I don't care how productive you are as a citizen. If you're not living your life's purpose in helping someone else as well, you are not living life's purpose. You are a sitting duck. Most of y'all voted for Trump and you can't even stand Trump. You guys don't even make any sense. It's not just black people that don't like Trump because they're offended by Trump for the most part. I was offended by him too. But I'm like, all right, he won. So let me see what he gonna do. Because I ain't here to be a thorn in nobody's side. I want to see us win. Y'all got these other nations talking junk about America and whatnot, and y'all not saying nothing. You so busy attacking Trump too. Why attack him? The other nations are attacking you. They're not just attacking the president. They're attacking you if you're an American. You better wake up, because ain't nothing waiting for you but an ass whooping while you got your head up your ass. Yes, I know y'all like women. Y'all, some of y'all, it's mostly men that come through or whatever. The women ain't going nowhere. OnlyFans ain't going nowhere. It'll still be there. Make some differences in this life. All these women, everybody naked, is boring now. So what you think you missing by taking some time out and solving some problems and really having some kind of dialogue with somebody? Huh? When it's nothing but a bunch of prostitutes everywhere else. Everybody throwing it around. They ain't even prostitutes no more. You could get it for free. In case you haven't noticed, the world is upside down. It's not only spinning too fast, because it's spinning faster and faster every 2 years. which I've been trying to teach y'all about that for the past 4 years. I came on and mentioned that. You ain't missing nothing but opportunity to make a difference. We got women laying on their back so long, the back of their head flat, legs wide open, but won't get no soap and no water. Stop playing with me, because I'm not playing with y'all. So I hope I get some people to come on in here that's not ready, that they tired of playing around. You can have fun. I'll have fun with you all kind of ways too. We could talk about sexuality, all that stuff. That stuff is fun too. But you know what really makes a difference when we come together and we can congregate. You getting all this stuff free. What I give you is an energy that you can feel. It ain't just about seeing it. I want you to be able to cover your eyes and hear what I'm saying and feel it. I want you to be able to put me on mute sometimes and look at me and you can feel my presence. Those of y'all that are really truly tapped in, you'll feel me when I'm not even on here. And it's different than what you feel from everybody else because they're empty. They're not bringing you nothing. I ain't here to tap dance to your tune either. I'm here to bring what I'm supposed to bring because that's part of my life's purpose. What's yours? And who you gonna call? Ghostbusters? When you in trouble, when you trying to figure out why your spirit ain't right, why that energy ain't quite right, who you gonna call? You can try to call Ghostbusters. We got offices in New York. Y'all better get with the program is all I'm saying. Anybody say anything else before we go? Because I see y'all too scared to hit the link or call in. So what's up? Especially when I get the monstrous trolls, I really will quickly drop that link. But I drop it for the good ones too. But good people, y'all don't send the chime in either. Y'all just, I don't know. Y'all just waiting for a bus to come by. Right. So Trump is what MAGA voted for. Live with it. Yeah, you got to live with it. I'm living quite well. Just wanted to know how long before the rest of you going to wake up on what's happening to your country. Will you get help? What'd that say? What's happening to your country? God help you all. Yeah. Where are the people that really believe in God is what I want to know. Some people just throw that word around. You don't believe in anything. Because if you did, you would praise him. Don't throw God on somebody else. Don't throw prayer on somebody else. Invite it in. You feel what I'm saying? God knows what you do to show he's a friend in your life, to show if you really believe in God. I believe in a high power. And I believe in the universe too. And I believe that it's been speaking to us and y'all not listening. You're very easily distracted. I'm not. And the demons are coming. There's more demons that's going to be coming to distract us. Be ready and prepared. They're coming through your family members. They're coming all kind of ways. I'm telling you, what I'm saying right now is going on in your life right now. You know I'm right. And those of y'all that's looking around, what you talking about? It's coming. It's coming. I'll help you combat that too, because no weapon formed against me shall prosper. What about you? This isn't just politics. It's a spiritual warfare going on. Race war going on, all kind of stuff going on. Stop thinking you can just sit by the sidelines and you're not going to be affected. Some of y'all are going to be the first to go. There's more people that feel like me. If you get in my way, you're done. You're gone. I'll do it spiritually. I don't have to be nowhere near you. But I do it for good. Witchcraft, all that stuff. You don't have to do none of that. And even if you do, it's not about doing it for the wrong reasons. It's for the right. That brings powers that we have, powers beyond your belief. You already got inside you. You got to tap in. If not, I'm telling you, stay the heck out of our way. The righteous people that have been elevated, stay out of our way. That's all I could say. Participate or you got to get out the way, y'all. I'm telling you, the demons is coming. They coming to take everything you got and then they diminish you. You're done. If you believe in God, you better start proclaiming it more. Proclaim it. Remind him, your friends, if it's been a long time. Because when you go to pray and it's been too long, you feel like you're just talking to yourselves. Keep praying to him more often so that you know that that friend is there. These human beings are going to let you down. The only person that's going to be there for you is your higher power. You better look up to the universe. Bye-bye. Hello. I don't know what that was. Maybe I should listen to it because I did have something research documents or something. But all right, my bad. That threw me off a little bit. Dang, see how the devil be playing? It's like, everybody be blaming something on the devil because they messed up. See how the devil just be busy? I was in my zone, but see how the devil try to distract me and make the phone ring, knowing my phone been turned off. No. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? I don't advertise either. I don't know what this is. Thanks, Dad. I still got that mug. We're gonna get these demons out the way, and you cannot be thinking that they belong to a certain party. Some of them belong in your genealogy. Some of the blood that runs through your veins are of ancestors that are cursed, possibly. Some that are, of course, not cursed. You have to tap in. We are in a huge war that you could be human, but you just being human ain't enough. You're gonna be done. You got to look up, y'all. I'm telling you, not just when I come on and talk about UFOs. Look up and keep your head up. There's things that want you to look down and feel less than and feel like your opinion don't matter. Your voice ain't nothing, so why use it? That's lies. There's negativity that's going to start coming more and more in your brains. You have to exercise it and practice so that it stays out. It's normal for the human brain to have negative thoughts because that's just the way we're wired. I don't know why, but that's just the way the human brain is wired. Keep it more positive, not just for Americans, but all around the world. You're going to need it. You can take what I'm saying lightly, or you can subscribe and come back again, because I'm not going to have nothing here but what y'all need and some of what y'all want. So if you like a channel like that, that's me. My handle is still always going to be Kiy NY7, because I'm a 007 agent by my right. I'm certified with law, psychology, some things to do with economics, spirituality, and astronomy. I will break down a lot of things that seem like they would be complicated to understand because they make you feel like you have to be a rocket scientist to understand what's going on in space. No, you don't. I'm going to break it all down to you, and I'm going to tell you some things that NASA's been keeping from us and what other people have been keeping from us. We're going to talk about it right here. They're already trying to get us to move to the moon. I talked about that on the last live stream. Moving to the moon, moving to Mars, which is not an end all be all because there's an expiration on the moon and on Mars. Everything is known to disintegrate and disappear at some point. So I'm just telling y'all that right now. Pay attention. Please pay attention and be diligent. Thank y'all for coming out. I'm Kiy NY7, and I hope you all have a great, fantastic day. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see. Yeah, they boots to the ground in these cities. We're going to see what happens, because it would be real nasty if everybody starts warring because they're mad that they came to try to help. I just want to see less crime. I want to see less violence in all communities, but particularly the inner city with Black communities, where there's younger Black men being killed a lot. And, we got a lot of murder, thefts, all kind of stuff. I'm all about solutions, and I'm not going to deny a solution just because of who it's coming from. I want to see what your intentions are and how you're going to go about it. All right. So I'm just saying that, and I'm speaking specifically to Black people too when I say that. You have to accept help if it's right. If you really don't feel it's right, I can't make you accept it. But dang it, we need the help. So you better get with it. You better do it yourself, or get in line with other folks like myself and do it and try to get this stuff done, or shut the hell up and get out the way. Thanks, y'all. I'm Kiy NY7. Hope y'all have a great day. This has been enjoyable for me. I hope it has been for you too. Peace.